One of the tools that we are using in this program is called the PESTLE, and I suppose it's PESTLE, and it's an acronym to describe or a way of approaching the various different influences from the environment which are impacting on your business. Whether you like it or not, they are there, and some of them are extraordinarily obvious and pressing at the moment. So P would be for political, E would be for economic, S would be socio-cultural, T would be technology, L would be legal issues, and finally E would be environmental issues. And one can identify a huge range of influences in all of these, under all of these headings. But I think the key thing for the pharmacy and for the supervising or superintendent pharmacist is to try and identify the key ones. There probably shouldn't be more than maybe one or two in each box. These are the ones that you can see are having a direct impact on the business. So, for example, it could key ones at the moment relate to economic. So we know that consumer sentiment is poor. We know that people are saving and they're not necessarily spending. We know that under political, we know that there's been a new Pharmacy Act. And so that has had a major impact on the way in which we practice pharmacy from many different perspectives. So we have to identify with that. And it's important, I think, to identify it and then reflect on exactly how it is impacting on our business and on our enterprise and on how we're trying to make a living. Another massive area is technology, and technology is impacting in many different ways in pharmacy. And I suppose one space that we have to watch is the whole business of e-prescribing. And I suppose not necessarily if that's going to happen, but when that's going to happen. And to imagine a scenario whereby if that were the practice, how would that impact on our business? How would our processes change? How would that impact on, if you like, the core offer that we make into our community as our business or enterprise or practice? So that's just one example within the whole field of technology. Obviously, smart technology is making a huge impact, and medical devices are making a huge impact as well. The medical devices sector in the Irish economy is a very fast-growing sector. So how is that impacting on pharmacy, on retail pharmacy? Are there opportunities within that for Irish pharmacy, for retail pharmacy? And then we can talk, I suppose, a little bit about the societal and cultural impacts that can influence. And I suppose important here is to think in terms, not just when we talk about culture, the way in which we do things. It's not necessarily the wider culture, but also the culture within the pharmacy. What kind of a culture do we have? Do we have an open culture where we talk about stuff, or is it a very serious place to work? Is it a fun place to work? Is there a lot of chat? Is there too much chat? And so on. So that's kind of an important perspective on culture from, if you like, from the organizational perspective. And then there's the impact that the pharmacy has on its own community. So when we talk about society, we're in the first instance talking about the local community and how that community, we are impacting on that community, and how that community is impacting on us. So finally, we might say a little bit about the whole area of political. And I suppose when we think about political, we can think in terms of the wider political process, and pharmacy has become highly adept at trying to lobby and influence at a party political level, at a government level. But also there's the political level within the profession, and then there's a political level locally with local representatives, and then there's the whole business of influencing our other healthcare professionals. and how we influence the medical profession, how we influence the dental profession. The medical profession has a profound influence on pharmacy, and we can point to specific instances over the last 10 or 15 years where this is clearly obvious to the practice of pharmacy. How is that going to happen into the future? Who are the driving forces there? How are we influencing them? What can we do to influence them and to communicate with them?